What is up, YouTube? It is I, the not Alphonsus 16 grade lock here. What? Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're here for another deck profile here. This time we have Dan.
Hi guys.
So we had a Cosmic Hero profile for you guys pre-Stargate, and then Dan wasn't 100% satisfied with it. So he was like, you know what, we'll just wait till the Stargate support comes out.
Yeah,
so now Stargate's here, support's here, and he has his nice shiny deck, and he's going to explain all the new stuff, why he has him, all that fun stuff.
Because I have money. Also, warning, some of these cards may not be SP. Do not worry, I will have the SPs.
He's looking for specific ones, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dan, take it away.
Alright, so this is not our starter, but it's nice. Shouts to Sammy, John for getting it for me. Our starter is Cosmic Hero Grand Hop, because Grand Hop is really good because he lets us soul charge and lets us counter charge because he is burst. When my Vanguard is at 25k or greater, I give something +4, and then if my Vanguard is at 35, I shove him in soul, draw a card, and counter charge 1. Really good, mostly used for the soul charging aspect, so we don't really need to, and mostly drawing so we can filter through our deck as fast as possible and then have open counter blast for stuff. Let's just start from 3s and work down. We play 4 of the new Grade 3 Grand Gallop because being at a 13k base is pretty lit. On stride, you Soul Blast 1 and give your Vanguard +12, so that makes all your Vanguards base 40k. And his continuous skill is that if you don't have a Grade 4 on your Vanguard or in your G zone with Gallop, you can't call him to Rearguard Circle. But that's not the Gallop we want to call anyway. We want to call Bravest Rush. Why? Because on rear, his GB3 is when my Vanguard attacks. If my Vanguard's at 30, he gets +4, and then if it's at 60, he gets +1 crit. So on restanding Vanguards, he gets really big crits and stuff. And then his on stride is Counter Blast 1 as cost. When you stride, your Vanguard gets +4, and then you Counter Blast 1 to give an additional +4 if it's a burst unit. And then you could free stride if you have 2 or less cards in hand, which is not 3 cards in hand. If it was 3, it'd be better, but it's not. Grade 2s, we're playing 4 Grand Volver still because resist is nice, and also I just like having a unit that can buff up my own columns and stuff. Plus, with how the deck is right now, we don't really need to worry too much about counterblasting. It's mostly a soul issue now. So he combos really well with our new Grade 2 that we play 4 of is Grand Bollinger, because he's our other resist unit. We play 8 resist because screw Kagero and everything that makes me kill my units on my turn. He's a 17k attacker on.
I like 17 cats.
Yeah, I like 17 cats too. Some say it's too much, but 17k attacker at GB1. If my Vanguard's at 40k, so Volver plus Bollinger. This makes Bollinger a 21k attacker. And if you hit stands, well, congratulations, you hit stands. And then rounding out Grade 2s are 3 Hogans because I find more value in Grand Bollinger and Grand Volver combos and having more resist units. If anything, I would probably take out a Grand Volver for a 4th Hogan if I decide to change it. But let's get into his skill before we continue any further. Is Counter Blast 1 on place. If you have a Gallop Vanguard, you pay cost, draw a card. And then if your Vanguard's power is at 40k, you countercharge 1 and you give +4 to himself. So as you can see, a lot of these cards are if your Vanguard's at 40k, which is, like I said, not hard at all. Grade 1s. For Perfect Guards, we're playing 2 Enigma and Calm still because recyclable Perfect Guards are like the tits, nuts, they're great. Granted, Soul Blast 1, but it is what it is. And then we play 2 Grand Monks because giving my entire field resist is great. Also, the ability to draw a card if one of my opponent's units is at 30k power or greater is just easy plussing. Between these, it's mostly been like a debate on whether or not to put Grand Monk to 3 and then Calm to 1. I like keeping it at 2 and 2 because it lets me see at least one of them over the course of one match. Next up, we play 4 Grand Ropes because we want to be on this Grand Gallop, not the other one because just minus. Yeah, because you want Stride. Next up, play 4 Nickname Blancs because soul charging is very important. The counter charge is nice, but the soul charging is what we really want. And yeah, and his axe skill makes him like one of the best grade 1 rides that you can actually have. Because when he's in the soul, you can soul blast him. If your Vanguard's at 10, and then at 35, you give your Vanguard +4. So basically, you just give your Vanguard, you soul blast him, your Vanguard gets +8. It's better than the stand trigger that we got in set 7. Grand whatever, Grand Scooper, Grand Digger, I don't know. Grand something. And then rounding out the grade 1 lineups because Grand Scout, I love him to bits. He is amazing, but a lot of these other cards, they take definite precedence over him. So the reason why, GB2, Cat +1, Soul +1, on place, you double your Vanguard's current power. And then at the end of turn, you retire him and Soul Charge 1. This is literally what is making the deck right now, and like what helps in the mid game. Because our early game is pretty nice, it's pretty decent. But once we hit mid game, this is where this card really shines and definitely puts the deck really high on the map and high in the tier list rankings.
Let me ask you.
Yo.
If someone wanted to play Grand Scout at 4, what would you recommend them to cut?
If anything, it would probably be Grand Rope. It would probably be the Pitch for Stride. I would think about dropping one bomb. I would prioritize the Grand Rope over the Blanc, only because the Blanc is such a great ride, and it's a great rear guard that soul charges itself when you need soul and you need counter blast.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, like that's the one thing I was thinking about. Triggers. Play 4 Cathies because soul charging or counter charging is very nice. Because you bind it and get stuff. And then we play 4 Linka because Linka lets you fill up soul, and then lets you give your Vanguard the ability to break perfect guards. So yeah, if you're at 35, if you're at 20k or greater, when you shove her in the soul, you draw a card, and then if you're at 35 and your Vanguard has burst, you get the shield break ability for a soul blast 1. Pretty good. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, cool. You just soul charge the card for drawing a card. And then play 4 Rekka because I feel Rekka still has a place in the deck, especially on peak turns, especially on Stark turns, because you give your Vanguard +4, and then when it swings at your opponent's Vanguard, if your power is at 37, you draw a card. So you just, like multiple attacking Vanguards, it lets you just, even if you're not drive checking, you're still at least drawing 2 cards, drawing a card off of her. And then we play 4 Grand Beat because having crits is nice, especially when your Vanguard's hella big. Also, giving your Vanguard needed 5k and letting you drawing a card and filling up soul is pretty good. G-Zone. We play 3 Peak because this is literally our early game, our mid game, our late game. Turn 1 quad drive. Literally not exactly, but definitely a thing that the deck needed. Kind +1 on attack. When he attacks, if he's at 40, he gets the quad. And then at the end of the battle, if he's at 80, he stands himself and loses all 4 drives. And then his GB3 is what really just makes him great mid-game and late game. He gets plus 10k continuous for each face-up card in the G-Zone. So if you can get that turn 1 peak, if you can restand on your first peak, you pretty much should have that game, because your opponent's gonna like either eat it or try block it again. And if they eat it, cool, you put them to high damage, and then next turn you could go to Stark, you go into peak again, and then just beat in face for higher damage. Next I'll play 4 Peak Flip Fodder, aka the original Cross Gallop. Again, mostly for Flip Fodder because you'd rather go into peak because he can restand himself. But Super Gallop, there's not much to say. GB2 kind of +1. On attack, you flip anything. If you're at 35, you get the quad. If you're at 40, your front row rear guards get +4 for each copy of him in the G zone. Kind of sucks that it's only for each super Cosmic Hero cross gallop and not for each cross gallop, or else this would actually, like, these two would like have the most, the best value out of the entire G zone. And plus, you flip 3 of these, you still have 1 left over for if your opponent's still not dead and you decide to, and you can't start them. Next up, 1 Cross Tiger because, hey, excuse me. I G flip 1 and then I get +4 for each face up card in the G zone. If I hit 45, he gets a crit. So I could literally turn 1 Cross Tiger and then just go swing, flip up. I'm at 40. That's 44. All I need to do is pump my Vanguard up once, and then I'm hitting 48, and I have a crit, and it's dangerous. Play 1 GB8 because GB8. If you're in that matchup that I don't know allows you to have field, and having is having it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah, it's a thing. Play 1 Stark because Stark is literally one of the best things that you can run this deck. Like I said before, you throw Ground Scout onto a Stark, you just pump up Stark, and then you just throw Scouts onto the Stark, and your Stark swings for like like stupid amounts. Like I've swung in with Stark for 200,000. And my opponent literally just couldn't guard it, and they just flat out died because of it. So yeah, Ultimate Stride. When he plays, you counterblast 2. He loses 2 drive, but he can attack up to 3 times, and he doesn't rest. So AKA, he has vigilance. So yeah, you throw Rekkas onto him. You scout him. You just do a whole bunch of stuff, and just, if you really need to kill your opponent, that's how you kill your opponent. And one of the best things to do after, like, while you're doing all that stuff is you throw down a Bravest Rush Gallop. Every time this swings, this Gallop is getting +4k, and he's getting the crit. So he swings 3 times. This Gallop is going to deal 4 damage on attack, and he attacks for base 23. It's that good. It's that good. Play 1 Seabreeze because we're G-base deck and Seabreeze is literally god. Please run Seabreeze. G Guardians. Play 1 last Dolphin because Kyro charging and soul charging is literally, again, life, but mostly the soul charging. And getting big shield is good. Play 1 Cross Caribou because easy plus 10k is easy, like a lot of my matchups. And then you can discard a card and get +4k, and use 17k base, and your opponent can't touch you. Play 1 Zeal because you can negate opponent's unit by 5k for a Soul Blast. And in a separate line, because I just read that today, you can counterblast 1 and give your Vanguard +5k until end of turn. So set an 18k base for the rest of the turn. Is literally the best.
I literally found that out today. I hate you so much.
I thought it was 1 continuous line. John, I don't read. Next up we play, I still play Go 05. If anything, I would take out Go 05 for Zeal. Mostly because Go 05 is a Soul Blasted card with 5k or greater power. When he's placed, he gets +10k shield, and then if I took a damage this turn, he gets additional 5k. So he's a 25, 30. He's a 30k shield, so he'd be like 43 or like 41k. So it's nice, but like I said, I would play like either another Zeal or another Caribou. Let me get my stuff in, or hell, put Patriot back in the deck. Because I took her out for a Dismal, because I like having rare cards, and I don't want, like, I like Dismal. I want to save my big boys. I want to save my Ballingers. I want to save all the stuff that lets me do stuff. So yeah.
Say it has resist. I'm gonna kill it.
I don't care for that. Whatever. Stark. There. It's peak. There. It's over 100.
What's your so? What are your overall final thoughts on the build?
I am really happy with this deck. I am going to be playing it for pretty much the next while. Well, I'm sorry. By the next while, I mean the highest minute and the quickest of 2 weeks, because I can't believe.
Yeah, guys, we get 14 in like 2 weeks.
Wait, when is the 14 come out again?
2 weeks.
Fun fact, sneaks are next week, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this because this makes me so happy that I get to be meta for a good while. D Police gets to be meta for a good while, and you know what? I'll take it, because in the end, Grand Galp gives us a lot of what we needed with a 13k base and just easy access to higher burst thresholds, and which makes like a lot of older cards easily accessible and easily splashable into the deck. Bravest Peak again, the greatest turn 1 stride ever.
No SGR, I'm so sad.
That's fine. That's less money I have to shell out.
Anyway, guys, that is the deck profile for you. Dan, thank you again as always. If you guys have any questions for Dan, as always, please leave them in the comments down below. If you are not subscribed yet to the Team Gradelock channel, please remember to subscribe. We always appreciate that. Bell button notifications, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else I'm missing, guys?
Also remember, Alphonse is the trap master of this team. Remember that his trap of choice is
Astolfo
from Fake
Grand Order.
Astolfo's okay.
Yeah, but it's a trap.
It's still a trap.
And with that, we're gonna sign off. Thank you again for watching, guys.
Please.
We will see you next time.